Looking at the crypto market, I can say one thing. This has been one of the most eventful days in crypto. As we've been trying to find opportunities, get in and get out with those gains, we understood that it's possible to actually find some of these to get in, ride them, and jump out as they pop. But the issue is now you literally have to sit there observing all these calls, observing what the market is doing. But yeah, that's a good problem to have. On the other side, we do have to understand the large cap coins, which we all have. Some of them are showing you good signs. Yes, Bitcoin need to break higher from this pattern. This is a short-term pattern. We need to see a break to the upside, which would be positive, and if we break lower, a little bit of rest. Wait for some time, it will come to a support, then you are going for another set of rally. Because a lot of assets are showing you ideas like this. This was back in Jan, we were posting about nervous, CKB saying, okay, that's is a possibility, right? So when you're looking at these, if it's me, I'm like, okay, you broke higher, you hit that target, now we are going through. This is your next target. And right now we saw that, we bursted through another 50% day. We did that. Fine. Then it's not only one or two assets. When you are looking for highly correlated assets, this helps you. Meaning, you don't have to go to anyone to find these. Just you need to sit there in the market, take time, go through different assets. And if you are watching these highly correlated assets, when one burst and the other is just preparing, that's a massive opportunity. That's one of the reasons why we follow up through the opportunities. We post, this is happening. As it breaks higher, we give updated targets because the pattern is now invalidated. Now we are going higher. We hit all these targets here. So you are in the market here. You're looking for what are the coins which are doing perfect today. It's NEO, a large cap coin, 37% for the day already, and it's close to like 1440. But our target was already hit. So if you are in these assets, what matters is you knowing this and then getting the right information. Okay, we actually reached the target. If you want to take the profits, you can, because it looks like this. But then suddenly one candle, you see that? Just one candle goes through and hit the target. And I'm like, that's great. Look at the volume. The volume came in and joined the party. Now, what are we looking at for XRP in that sense? Because we are looking at a lot of different assets, trying to see anything possible in the market, right? We were looking at XRP, was trying to break higher, and right now here we are. We are actually trying to see what are the possibilities, and we are going to describe what we actually see in XRP. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. When I actually showed this, it was real. The talk about doing this move, saying don't miss this, that was a reality, and that's what we just saw here, right? If you didn't miss this, if you happen to be on these trades, there are people, who made way more than what I got. Because I gave the alert that I'm closing here, this is my target, I'm fine. But then by the time they close it, sometimes it's way higher than that. Some got even 80, some got 110. And I'm like, that's what you're looking for, the right information for the right asset. But yes, this is a market. Being frank, inside this market, when you find opportunities like this, now the question is that going to happen soon? Second, what's your target? Even if you know both of these, what happens sometimes, the price actually decides to go above your targets, right? It actually pops through. Even if you're thinking it's going to go to like 0.25, it can go way above. And at that point, you really can't take much more calculated guesses because that was your measured move, right? So now it's up to your luck. But the targeted percentage is what matters. If you're actually ending up with these moves, now, we don't know how many trades we have actually closed in the short run. I didn't count through, but a lot of these actually did much better because we followed through, because we had these opportunities going through, and some of these were so fast. Look at this. This was a trade earlier today. And if you look at the time, I'm like, that was like close to lunchtime, say 1 p.m. here. I entered that. And by the time I came back after the lunch, it was already through the roof. And I'm like, okay, that's actually a good thing to do. I closed that. It went a little bit higher than that. But as long as you know your target and you're taking your profits, that's fine. The market is eventful. But what's concern right now is, will BTC break to the downside? Now that is something you all have to keep in mind. Now, why am I saying this? On an hourly chart right now, we are getting green, which is actually positive, at least for the time being. We have a possibility that we may break to the upside. Now we are slowly taking a step back and we are like, it's a mixed opinion. You got red, then you got immediately another green. So we are still waiting for the market to show us something. Now the MACD crossed to the downside. It did not yet cross back to the upside. So we are actually going back, looking at the 12 hour, and the 12 hours are just like, I had a decent run up and I'm trying to cross to the downside. Maybe it can bounce like this, what we had here. That would be like this, which would be like, Bitcoin broke above at 21, then came back to 20 and bounced, right? It went to $23,000. So if we do that, something similar here, most likely we're going to come down to 23,000, 23,500, that range and bounce. Now, again, you are trying to see what are the odds in the market. So as you zoom out, the perspective is kind of clear. The MACD crossed to the upside. RSI is still in the overbought territory. Moving average is pointing you to the upside. So you are moving above that trend for a long period of time. When you come back down, it happens to be for a short period of time. This is something which I see a lot of people misunderstand in this market. Saying, okay, we are going back down to 12,000 inside this market. I'm like, okay, let's first wait to see the moving average turn around and going down. Then we can put that argument. Because during a time when the moving average is showing you a direction, going against it is something negative. It's like, no, no, no. If you do that, it's going to be really painful. Now, that being said, that's just one indicator which we are using. If you actually go back into a daily chart looking for like patterns, now you will see different patterns, right? You can actually argue that we have this trend line, which we have to break. So similar to that, when we actually jump onto various different assets, say one of which is XRP, which we are all looking at, and look at the MACD here. I'm like, wow, this is an opportunity, because all these times when we had a MACD cross, we went up. Now we do get some volatility by that time, and the buyers and sellers are punching each other. We do get that, but just after that, we are looking for what's happening. We are kind of going in, we are zooming in to see the narrative, to see the strength actually. So while looking at the momentum here, you can actually see like, okay, that's a green bar at the end. So that should be fine for next 12 hours. However, now I'm going into a 4 hour. What's next 4 hour looking like? And that's red for the time being. Now I'm jumping on to like a hourly chart. There's XRP on an hourly showing you that I'm trying to break through the moving average to the downside. Moving average is trending to the upside, but it's breaking to the downside. Sometimes we actually see this. Now, it's not direct impact. Most likely what happens in these cases is it breaks to the downside, it immediately go back, retest the moving average, and if it gets rejected, then it drops like this. A higher momentum drop to the next level of support. So if you look at this, we had a level of support here that was respected, which is great because that level is staying till this area. So when we drop, we can have a thought process like, okay, we may get supported by this range. So that's XRP on an hourly. But, as I just mentioned, if you're zooming out on a daily, now pattern side, trend side, it's all different view. The momentum based, I'm like, okay, this is becoming bullish. And at least I would say like, when you're comparing Ranko charts, when you're comparing Hiknashi with the price action, I'm right now watching that crypto market is giving more certainty for all these trades, I've been using Hiknashi and Ranko comparatively and was really watching the MACD, the RSI, moving average, everything. Agreed. But what we have to keep in mind is on a daily, XRP is still like this, meaning the moving average has not yet turned to the upside. We are in a neutral to negative category. But the indicators are suggesting we may soon move to the upside. But to get that confirmation, what need to happen in the market? The price need to go above the moving average and stay there for some time. So it can do a good run up even during this time. But that's the risk factor. You really don't know when it's going to happen, right? And this is one of the primary reasons why we try to find assets while we are waiting for XRP to jump on trades like this. So once you reach a certain level of targets, now you can literally use that to trade into XRP. I see a lot of people doing that. And I'm like, okay, you're doing great. But let me ask you something. If you already have your XRP bags packed, meaning you're like, okay, my long-term bags are full. Now, why don't you look at a lot of different assets? You do have different assets in this market. Now, I'm just going to look at a couple of them, the fundamental, blue chip, that kind of stuff. And this is Polkadot, one of the best protocols out there in terms of, being mentioned by the World Bank, the United Nations, the protocol itself and how it's being developed and all, right? If you look through the support, the resistance, the technical, the side and all, you're like, okay, we are breaking to the upside. And based on what we just talked about, it is showing you slowly it is turning bullish. Now, what you have to understand is when the price of an asset pumps, you don't really want to jump onto a pump. You want to enter in a correction. Or you want to enter as soon as it's starting to bounce away from the moving average, which is a really impressive thing to do. Now, it takes a lot of patience because right now, look at that. Moving average is here. So this particular asset, there can be correction, which can be a buying opportunity. But if you are like, I don't care, I'm a macro guy, I have next at least 5 years, so I really don't care about next couple of weeks. And if it just pops in next 3 months, I'm fine, I'm taking my profit. If that's your attitude, look at what's happening in the market, not just with one asset. A lot of these fundamental tokens, which have been there for a long time, they are showing you on a macro level, they are breaking to the upside. Now, this is actually a sign which the market actually shows you, like the macro, the big caps are actually starting to look bullish, which means XRP is among those. Yeah, we do have the SEC as a liability right now because they do not understand anything. And, just today in the crypto Twitter, I actually saw like Stuart highlighting from Ripple, highlighting that, 4 out of 5 cases, SEC lost in the Supreme Court. And I'm like, what are these guys really doing? Wasting taxpayers' money or working for China? I really don't understand. But whatever it is just our thought process, our opinion. Fine. But the market is changing. Now, I think we all will agree on this point that the market is breaking higher, that the RSI is increasing, the strength is increasing in the market. So now you take the same perspective back into XRP to see whether we are getting all this there. Now, I would really like or love to see those happening here in XRP. The RSI entering to the overbought territory, price is about to rally because my portfolio is heavy on XRP. But I'm like, patience is the most biggest step. And remember, staying liquid is the most important thing because the market can be rational for a particular asset. But on the other side, if you are literally watching all these possibilities, all these opportunities in the market, now you can take benefit of that. Even if you're entering with $100 and that becomes $1,000, now you can, if you want to, you can now buy $500 worth of XRP. If you start with 1,000 and it becomes 10,000, now you can buy for 5,000, right? The original amount is being multiplied. So if you want to buy more of that or diversify into blue chip coins, XRP, XLM, HBAR, whatever asset you like, whether it's payments, whether it's smart contracts, whether it's metaverse, the AI gaming, whichever sector you're looking at, there is a lot of coins which are really getting adoption in the real world. which means fundamental value for that particular asset is increasing. And that's one of the reasons why we know or we feel that XRP is going to blow off. We really don't know when because of the liability which we have from SEC. But as soon as we get a break, it's really going to be interesting because a lot of people who are staying on the sidelines will be surprised. Again, you don't actually get a 500% day, right? You need to keep this in mind. When you are observing the market fluctuation, during the peak volatility times, XRP kind of move like 60-70% a day. Now, that's not small thing. That's a great thing. But it does not do that every day. But you actually get an idea that when we get a 30, 40, 50% move in XRP, volatility is about to begin. Fine. Now, you come back here and look what this was. That was a 40% move once we bottomed with a double bottom pattern. Now, yes, we got the FTX drama, which pushed the entire market down, and obviously, XRP is one of that asset in the market. With that, it also came down. So now if you observe this, there is a big difference, right? Once you get this, you come back to the moving average and you bounce. But what we didn't get yet is the price maintaining the moving average or staying above the moving average. So on a weekly, we are still waiting to get those macro reversal signals. We are still waiting to see the RSI going through previous level. Now, literally, we are now observing on a daily that the MACD suggests we are going to break to the upside. The RSI shows you we broke to the upside. We are now retesting and bouncing. So on a daily, we are getting these changes. So it may take a week or two for us to become really bullish, but that's not a long time because we've been already waiting for like years. This is going to be a macro opportunity which you can actually use. And if you're literally looking for opportunities, understanding all this, say NKN, we know what happened in the market today, right? It just popped. We were looking through that and giving the perspective. This is what I think is happening. This is what the macro pattern looks like. This is what's happening, for all these assets. Now, if you want to take benefit of that while you're in the market and while the market is hot, you can look at those. Now, some of these are being posted early in the morning. That's why I told you last 24 hours has been eventful. We're looking for gems in the market, or at least trying to look for assets which won't do anything, move them out, then look for assets with volume and good pattern or momentum. Now you end up like this. We don't literally try to find an asset which is going to do a 50 or 100%. We try to avoid assets which are going to do way lower than the average on that day or that week. This gives the ability to understand what the market is going to do, and then you take benefit of these. So guys, if you are looking for those, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. And if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.